All right, guys, coming to you from the mighty Midwest, and we got some breaking news for you. Existing home sales fall for third straight month. This is from Amanda Fung. She is an editor with Yahoo News, and we'll start out by saying I am not surprised at that at all. You have gas prices going through the roof. You had a pipeline shut down out on the East Coast, which snarled the economy for a bit. And it's just inflation is so high, it's getting harder for people to buy a house, number one. And number two, it's getting harder for people to afford expenses week to week. Also, with the supply chain breakdown, I am getting word here in the mighty Midwest of some factories going back to 32 hours a week when they were at 45 to 60 a week. When they were at 7 days mandatory overtime for a while because they can't get parts to proceed. So let's go on to dive into the article. Home sales fell for the third straight month this year as home prices continue to rise at a record pace. Yeah, it's just crazy. Here in the Midwest, if you don't have 150,000, which I know is cheap, we've actually got one of the best areas to live as far as price affordability. Used to be like 80,000 you could get a decent house, 80 to 100. Now the new norm is 150 or it's going to be a dump. Existing home sales fell 2.7% to a seasonally adjusted 5.58 million in April from a month earlier, according to the National Association of Realtors. The results missed analysts' expectations of a 1% gain. Okay, who are these analysts? What kind of stuff are they smoking or ingesting? Where do they live? They probably live on the East Coast, West Coast. Probably don't know what real life is like. According to a Bloomberg consensus, April sales activity was up 33.9% from the same month a year earlier when the nation was under a lockdown due to the coronavirus. That's quite a bit, 33.9, but you have to take into effect. Yeah, that was because of the coronavirus. I wonder what that was up versus 2 years ago. Oh, here it goes. Compared to April 2018, existing home sales was up 11%. Oh my goodness. Are you kidding me? You know, number one, I can't understand these millennials when they talk. Number two, existing home sales was up 11%. No, existing sales were up 11%. Sales activity in all but one of the four regions in the U.S., the Midwest, fell. So basically what they're saying, the Midwest rose, where homes are more affordable. Yeah, we got people moving it. Listen to this. Kid you not, we have people coming in from the West Coast who work for these big tech companies. They still work for them, maybe out in Washington or California, and they can work from home, so they move out here so they can get cheaper housing. And they might have to fly in once every quarter for an in-person meeting. Right now everything's via Zoom, so that's what made this area go up. Low inventory continues to hinder sales activity, said Lawrence Yun. Lawrence Young, Amanda Fung. Do we see a trend here? Are we being taken over by the Eastern powers that be? No, I don't know these people, so they're probably good people. During a press call prior to the release of the results, adding that despite the slowdown in activity, the housing market is still hot. Yeah, I would agree with that, but at what point is it going to spike and fall off like lumber did last week? The median existing home price for all housing types in April was $341,000, up 19% from April 2020. Oh my goodness. No inflation, folks. Imagine going up 19% a year. Every year for 10 years. And then the dollar going down in value as every region recorded record price increases. This is a record high. The National Association of Realtors started tracking prices in 1999 and marks 110 straight months. Wow, that's interesting. Only since 1999 they've been tracking prices. You thought it had been longer. Despite the decline in sales. Housing demand is still strong. Blah, blah, blah. Blah, blah, blah. See if there's a chart here. Number of homes sold in the U.S. Well, look at that. That's interesting. Compared to 2000, this right here was probably what, 2000, end of 2005. We're still down. So if you know anything about charts, this is a bearish sign in housing, because unless you break that top, this thing's going to fall down. So the next mark to watch would be the 6 million mark right here per year. Interesting, interesting, interesting. So we can see a little bit that did gain there. So we could still be on a midterm upturn, but in order to break out here, interest rates got to stay the same. Inflation's got to cool. They've got to increase minimum wage, stuff like that. Hey, it'll be interesting to see what happens with this housing market after the big boom time in the spring here and summer, early summer. Maybe we'll have an update for you next quarter. Over and out from the mighty, mighty Midwest.